But we'll start by status transitioning. What is status transitioning? Every record, whether it's an event record, whether it's a venue record, has a status. The status tells you this record is active, if this record is inactive. Let's say, for example, this is an event. An event can be at a planning stage. You can have a status to set when the event is in a planning stage. You can have another status to say, okay, this event has been confirmed. If you're booking a venue for your event, let's say you book online, you wait for some time for the owners of the venue to send you a feedback and say, okay, this venue has been reserved for you. So at that stage, you can say, okay, this event is confirmed. Or maybe when you have the amount of money you budget for that event, and you're able to secure a spot, a venue, you can say, okay, at this stage, the status of this event should be confirmed. And then after the event, the status of the event may become completed or inactive. It's no longer active. It has been closed. Yeah, so that is what status is. And the status transitioning helps you to transition from one status to another. Let's say you don't want someone to move from a new event, an open event, and just move all the way to completed. You want them to move from new, planning, confirmed, and completed. So you want them to follow this sequence. So you implement what is called a status transitioning, and this status transition will be making use of that partially in the business process flow that we will be creating. So I'm gonna go straight to the environment. Let's add some status. Now, okay, let me just go back. It's the same way we navigate. You come to the solutions, and then for this, we are using the community event hub solution. So you can click here to show the object in the solution. Okay, and then you'll be, so let's go to the tables. Okay, now before we go to the tables, when you're customizing a solution, there is what we call the modern interface, and there's what we call the classic interface. What you see currently displayed on the screen here is more like the modern interface. This we call it a new UI. When model driven app and power app started, there was an old interface that we were using. So when this came in, it became, it was much more easier to use this. And I think this is where Microsoft as a product is headed, as per the future plans. But there are some functionalities that are not yet available. Very few of them, which when you need to do, you still need to go back to the old interface. We call it the classic customization interface. So for status transitioning, we'll be using the old, which is the classic interface. And to do that, we're going to open this solution in the classic interface. So I'll click on switch to classic. And then this is the classic interface. You see, here you also see this prompt. There's a better way to customize the system. Try the new experience. When you click this, it takes you back to the modern interface. Okay, so here on the left hand side, you have your components, and we want to go to the community event table. These are the list of entities. These called tables. So I'm going to collapse the one for the community events. And here you see the forms, you see the view, the columns are called the fields here, and the rest of them. So we want to go to the fields and look for the status field. So for this status transitioning, we're going to make use of this field called status code. There are two status fields here. One is called state code, one is called status code. State code is, I would say, system generated, and state code has two status, which is active and inactive. It's generated by the system. But the status code allows you to play more around it. You can add your own custom status, and then it's system generated, but it allows you to edit it, and also it's flexible where you can define your custom status. So we're going to open this, and then here we have the status reason field. So we'll start by adding new status. So when the event is created, by default, we want it to the status to be new. Let's call it I think we can edit it. If we don't want to call it new, we can call it open. And then to create a new one, you just need to click on add here. So when you click on add, it's going to add a new one, and then you can also name it. To name it, you just name it. Let's say this is planning. We want to call this next stage planning, and then you click on OK. Then we'll add another status here. We're going to call this confirmed. Here, yeah. And that will be the next one, and then we'll add the last one and we'll call it complete. Completed. Let's just call it completed. Okay, so just a few of them we'll be using for now. And then, so when you add the status, there's what we call, let me save this first. Okay, so this is saving. Okay, now it is saved. So then we now structure it on how we want the users to progress between these four status that we have created here. To do that, okay, just a moment. Okay, so we click on edit status reason transitioning, and on the left side you will see the current status that we have added, and this side we're going to add the transitioning. So when you create a new event, it's going to start from open. It's an open event. So from open, the user should be able to move to planning. We don't want the user to come directly to completed. So I'm going to add a new status transition in and say, okay, this should be planning. Okay. So from open, the user can only move to planning. Then from planning, the user should also be able to see the next one. They can actually, okay, which is, if they want to go back, we can allow them to go back to open. We can also allow them to proceed to confirmed. So most times you might plan and the plan changes and maybe you want to go back to open. So want to allow them, when they are in the planning stage, they can either go back to open or they can proceed to the next one, which is confirmed. And then when it is confirmed, so they can go to completed. They can go back to, let's say, one just want to allow them to go back to planning as well. Then we add that. And then when it is completed, we don't want them to go back. Maybe we just decide that when it is completed, it is completed. You can't go back. So where you are in your planning and your confirm stage, make sure you check your details and everything you need about the events before you go to completed. Once you're in completed, you cannot transit to any other status reason. And then we click on OK. Okay, hold on. So let me enable this. Okay. Okay. And go back and open this. Okay, so all is set. And then we can close here. And then we just do save and close. After configuring the transitioning, you just hit on save and close. Yeah, and this is saved. So after saving, it's always a good idea to publish. And instead of publishing all customizations, I just like to publish only the table where I have made changes. So I click on the name of the table, and then there will be a publish button here. I hit publish. and then we can check now. Then let's see, for example, okay, let's see some few things we need to do. And let me go back here. So now we've created the status transitioning, but we don't have the status field on the form. So let's add the status field on the form so we can then see the transitioning that we have configured. We'll go to community events, and then let me go to the forms. And opening the main form. Okay, so this is the status. Okay, so I'm going to add the status reason field on the form header as well. Okay, yeah, so that is here. And then I click save and publish. So now we can test this. So I always like to do a hard refresh. Okay, so let me just see, for example, I'm going to create a sample record. I'm saying health conference, event dates, just select a type of, and then save. Okay, okay, still need to refresh this. So I'll do a control F5 for the changes to reflect. Okay, now it's here. So the status is open. When you click on the status, you can see you can only transit from open to planning. You can go directly to completed or confirmed. So you can switch from open to planning and then you save. And then from planning, you'll be able to see confirmed. You can also go back to open. So you can click on confirmed and then you save this. And then from confirmed, you can see completed and you can also go back to planning. So once you hit completed, you can move to any other status because this is how we configured it. So basically, that's how you configure status transitioning. So it's just something that is very easy to understand. You can, and it's going to be based on the requirements that the BAs or maybe the business analysts will share with you, and then you use the status transitioning to define the sequence, how that will progress. So we're going to use this status to also create a business process flow. And a business process flow is just a visual component that guides users to follow a specific sequence from the start of an event to the end of an event. Yeah, Abimbola, you want to say something?
Yeah, I wanted to ask. Sorry, I wanted to ask. Is there a reason why it has to be configured on the classic end? Why? Or that's the only place it can be configured, basically.
Okay, yeah, as I mentioned, so the classic interface has been there before the modern. So Microsoft are moving most of the functionalities that we can customize from the classic to the modern, but not all of these functionalities are available yet. Yeah, so in the future, these things are going to be moved, and that is why I think every year there are 2-wave releases that adds more features both to the customization, both to the functionalities. So there is an early wave release. There is also another one that comes later in the year. So every year these changes are happening in the system. and you just have to stay abreast with the changes. So there are some of the customizations that we do on the modern interface now that were not possible before, and that is why Microsoft has not completely deprecated the classic interface, because they know that there are some customizations that are not yet in the modern interface. But the future is that all of these customizations and more customization features will be moved to the modern interface, and then the classic interface will be removed or deprecated.
Okay. Makes sense. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So as I was mentioning before, I said the business process flow is a visual aid that guides users on how to follow a sequential pattern from the start of an event to the end of an event. And we're going to see in practical what a business flow is. Now, the business flow, we can customize this from the this one. We can do it from the modern interface. So I'm just going to go back to the table, and then let's do it from here. So let me go back to, so business flow is a process. In terms of components, it falls under processes. So a business flow is a process, just like the way you have apps, the way you have tables. Tables are entities. Security roles have to do with permissions. Tables, business process flow fall under processes. So to create a business process flow, we go to processes, and then we click on new, and then you select automation. When you select automation, it's going to give you a lot of automated processes. So we scroll down to processes. When you go to processes, you see business process flow here, and then you select business process flow. So I'm going to call this event set up process. When you set the display name, it auto generates the schema name, and then you select the table. Just type in the name of the table because I know it. That is community events. Yeah, so that's it. And then you hit create. So before we get into this, let me explain first what I want to create here in this business process flow. So when we start creating it, you can it's easy for you to understand. So we want to create a business flow, and business flow has to do with there are different components in business flow. Now, the first one is called stages. So there are going to be multiple stages, and for this, we are creating 4 stages here. The first stage is going to be draft. So when you click on the new button to create a new event, it's going to be at the draft stage. Then from the draft stage, it is expected that you provide the name of the event, because you define stages. When you define stages, there's also another component called data step. So the data step tells you what data you have to provide at each stage of the flow. So we can say when it is in the draft stage, at least we expect that the user should give us the name of the event. When it moves from the draft stage to the planning stage, it is expected that the user should be able to give us a description. What is the event description? Tell us about the event. The user should be able also to provide us the event type. Is it going to be a virtual? Is it going to be an on-site event? And then the user, if it's an on-site, the user should also be able to provide us with an estimated unit budget, and also the capacity that they are looking at hosting. This information, this data, the user should have that during the planning stage. And after it moves from the planning stage, once it is in the confirmed state, the user should be able to have secured a venue. So the user should give us the venue information and the event date. They must have also fixed the date for the event. At the confirmation stage, we expect that the venue and the event date should be provided. And then at the completed stage, the user should, let's say, just set the status to completed, because then the event is completed. So we have 4 stages: draft, planning, confirmed, and completed. and within this stage, there are expected data that the user must provide. And so this is what we'll be setting up now. So to do that, we're going to start. So when you open the customizer or the editor page, it gives you the first stage here by default. You can see this is called a new stage. So what we want to do is that this new stage, we want to call the name draft. It's going to call draft stage, or let's call it open, so that it matches with the status, but you're not restricted to what you can call it. It just depends on your own interpretation of whatever business requirement is given to you by the client. So I'll call this open, and here I don't want to set anything else. We don't need to add this category. It's not compulsory and it's not needed here. So just the name of the stage, and then you click on apply. So it's going to change the name here to open. Now, at the open stage, we want to create a data step. The data step, we provide the user the data that they need to impute at this stage, and we want the user to give us the name of the event at this stage. So to do that, you can either click on add and click on add data step, and then it's going to give you that. So there are other components here. Let me explain that. So not just the data step and the stages that you can add. So you can also add a workflow. You can add an action. You can add flow step, which is a Power Automate flow, but these are advanced. When you get the basics, then you can advance to all those, maybe adding custom workflow, adding Power Automate, which we've not covered in the course of, I think Power Automate will be the next training that will be coming up. So it's going to be a sequential. So when you get this step and then you do the Power Automate class, then you can improve on the basics that you know already. So, but then when you click on these details, by default also, the system will provide one data step. So you can either add from here, or you can, if you need multiple data. But for now, we just need only the event name. So I'm just going to use this data step here. And I'm going to call this so that it makes sense if anyone is reviewing the flow that I created. So add event name. Then you're going to select the field. So here now I want to select the event name. And then you can set it, I think it's already required at the field level. So there's no need for us to set it required here again. If it's not required if you didn't set the field to be required when you're creating the field, then you can automatically enforce it to be required on the business process flow. But the event name is already a required field on the form. So we'll just leave it. And then we'll click on apply. So we have one data step here called add event name. And it's going to be under the stage called open. So the data step is under the stage. At this stage, we have one data step open. Then we move and create another stage. And then you click on add stage. So it's going to give you this, and then you click on this. When you click on this, it will give you the box to create another stage. And we're going to call this the planning stage. And I'll click on apply. Changes the name to planning. And in the planning stage, we want to add, I mentioned the description, the event type. And you remember that we had a business rule that says if you select on site, you need to provide the capacity and you need to provide the unit budget details. So since we are adding the event type field, it is also necessary that all other fields that are related or customized alongside that field be added at the same stage. So I'm going to click here, and then we already have a data step here. So I'm going to use this data step to add the event type. And then select event type here. Now, sequence means that should be the first field that should show. So that should be the first one. I'm going to click on apply. And then I also want to add more fields. So I'm going to click on add and add data step. So You can add above, you can add below. If you add above, it's going to change the sequence of this one to be 2, and then the one you're adding above becomes 1. But when you add below, automatically the sequence becomes 2. And for this, we'll be adding the unit budget. Okay, let me use this, add unit budget. There are too much space here. And then I'm gonna come to unit budget should be this. And when you remember, we said the currency field always has to, don't use the base, use the one without the base here. So add unit budget, and then click on apply. And then I'm also going to add another field here, which we would call the capacity as well, because both the unit budgets and the capacity have an automation with the event type. So we're going to add both of them here. And then I'll select capacity, apply. And then I also mentioned at this stage, at the planning stage, the user should be able to know the description of the event. So we're going to add also the description field here. And then let me go down and add this below. Then add description. Then yeah, this is the description field. Then apply. So that's all on that stage. Then we move to the next stage, which will now be, after planning, we have confirmed. So I'm going to add this here, and then I'm going to call this stage confirmed. Okay. And just like that, I apply to change the name of the stage. And then the confirmed stage, we will be adding 2 data, the event date and the venue for the event. So I'm going to use this to add the event dates. So here I'm going to select event dates and then apply. You can make it required if you want to here, because I don't think this is required in the at the form level. So you can enforce this to be required here if you want. It's optional. You can just select this. And then I'm also going to add a new data step for the venue. So I'm going to call this add venue. Okay, okay, I think that's the name is venue booking, right? Okay, yeah, I think so. Yeah, then I'm going to apply. So, and that will be all for this stage. Then we add the last stage, which will be completed. So, okay, so this is completed. And in the completed, we just want the user to change the status. So, set status. And then it's going to be the status reason field. And then just hit apply. And there's all. This is just like a basic, I would say, a simple business process flow. So most times you might add a condition also to say, you can also add a condition. Let's say add condition, and just the way we saw condition in business rules, you can also add condition here. You can define to say maybe if the capacity is greater than 200, if the capacity is greater than 200, then move to a specific stage. So I can say, okay, let's say capacity is equals to, let me say value, or let me say greater than, is greater than 500. If the capacity is greater than 500, I might decide to say, okay, let me add a new stage. And then let's say call this stage maybe feedback stage, or okay, let's say feedback stage. Maybe there's a feedback from the event, and let's say you have a field on the form for collecting feedback. You want to save the feedback there, and you want the user to populate this field only after the completion stage. You can add a feedback stage. So this stage will only show when the status is when the capacity is greater than 500. If it is not greater than 500, it won't show anything. Or if you want it to show a different stage, you can add whatever you want it to show. Just maybe click on add stage, and then you can add a stage here. So this, when this condition is met, you can see this is a tick green icon here. It's going to move to this stage. When it is not met, it's going to move to this stage. Yeah. So you can as well, do a whole lot more with this, but this is just a basic business process flow. So since we don't have any feedback comment field, I'll just remove this one. So, and to remove any stage or condition, you just click on it and then you go to hit delete. Then you say okay, it's going to remove it, and then you can hit this. Then you can also remove the condition. Okay, then that's all. Then you can save. So once you save, the system automatically validates your flow if there are error. And if there are no error, you see your validation will be successful. And then you can also edit most in the real world. You add security rules that you want to allow access to the business process flow. I think when we get to security rules, we'll see that aspect as well. So for here, what we just do is, I think that is all. We then go ahead to activate this. Okay, we'll give it a little time.
While we're waiting for that, I have a quick question.
Okay.
The under my object, I searched and I couldn't find that process option. I don't know if it's
Okay, can you share your screen real quick?
restricted. Oh, the guy is done. Okay, let me do that.
You can share, let's see.
So I searched for process here and it said it's not.
Okay, it's fine. That means you don't have any process there already. You can remove it, it's fine. So just click on new at the top there.
Here.
Yeah. Then go to automation. Scroll down to process, and then you find it there.
Okay.
Yeah. So the ones mostly it will show at the right hand side where you have an existing process. Like say you have anyone that you've created already. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I was thinking it would automatically show up as part of the pinned items on the left hand side.
Yeah, most times the object just shows you what you have already in that solution. Let's say you have a process in that solution, it just shows you the list of the things that are already existing in that solution.
But I don't have a cloud flow, and it's showing. It gives me that option. So,
but I think it happens like that. Yeah, sometimes it's how the system is designed. Okay, so let's go back and then see. Okay, this is activated. So let's go see if this will show up directly or we still need some. Okay, I'll go back to this and click done. And then let me publish this. I don't know how long this will take me. So, okay, I just publish a customization. And then we'll wait. Usually I don't like hitting the publisher customization, especially when you've created a lot of components in your solution and you're publishing everything. It might take some time. Okay. I will just wait for this and see. And also one thing I failed to mention is whatever customizations you have on your form. Let's say like we have a business rule. That customization will also be available on the business process flow. So the business rule we had on event type would also be available there on the business process flow as well. So let's go back here now. Then I'm gonna do a hard refresh. Let's do a control and F5. Okay, and let's see if we are good to go. Okay, it's not showing at the moment. I'm gonna click on new again. Okay, so then we still have some more tweaks to do. So let's go back to the solution, and then I'm gonna go to the app. Now we're gonna go to the app. So we click on apps, and then this is the model. We want that business process flow to show in this model driven app. So I'm gonna click on the model driven app that was created, the community event app, and then so this is automation. I'm gonna click on automation, and then this is the okay, it says not in this app. So this is the one that we created. So to move it to this app, let me see, and then just click on add, and then it's going to add that to the app. So these processes are not in this app. These two are in this app, though this one is inactive. That is why it is not showing. So we added this one now, and this is active. So once you add that to the app, you save. Now, when I mean app now, I'm talking about this. All these are called apps. So this is the app we're talking about here, which is the community event apps. It's a model driven apps. So let me go back here, and then once it's saved, I can also hit this button to save, to publish the app. And then this is going to run. Okay, so let's see if we do new. Yeah, so this is showing now. From this screen now, we'll go back to the, and then we do a hard refresh here, control and F5. Okay, it's loading, and then let's hit new. Okay, yeah. So the business process flow will not be added to existing records. Yeah. So if you have old records that you've created without the business process flow, you won't see it there. Yeah, because there is also a relationship between the business process flow and that record. So if that relationship is not there, you won't see it in the old or the previous record. So now we have this. So this shows you the stages. So you can see by default, this is at the open stage. So this flow is here, and the status is also open. Now in a reward, there are some advanced level of customizations that you can do on the business process flow, so that when you move to the next stage, automatically it updates the status. Yeah, so this you can use let's say Power Automate. That's why I said know the basics first. So when you now you learn the workflows, you learn the Power Automate, then you will know how to move, how to advance the normal basic business process flow, because you know the basics. Yeah, so there are some higher automations that we can use. Once you move to the planning stage, automatically it updates the status of this to planning. Yeah, so those things they are available, even though they are not within the scope of this class. So this is open. So a user might be confused on how do should I set this first, which details do I need to put. So it might get confusing for maybe new users. So if they follow this business process flow, they are able to populate everything needed for this event and they are not confused. So what do they do? You go to click on the first stage. It's asking you to put the event name. So I would say, let's say this is food safety training. Maybe the event is for food vendors, food safety training. So you add the event name, you hit save. Once you hit save, you can see automatically it's populating that on the event name of the form as well. And it also tells you the button to move to the next stage. So you hit on the next stage and then it opens up this for you. Here it's asking you to add an event type. So if you select virtual here, you see those fields get hidden, the same business rule that is there on the form. If you select on-site, you're able to see the unit budget. So let's say one of budget food vendors, maybe these people eat a lot, let's budget 3,000. And then the capacity, let's say we are expecting 4,000 food vendors. And then we can say this event is to train food vendors on food safety. And then when you click on next stage, it automatically saves the data. And then you can see also it's populated that on the form. The calculated field already calculated this, the event budget based on the unit budget and the capacity. So everything that the user will do on the form, this one is providing them a more better guide than that is more clear and they are not confused when they are following this process. So at the confirm stage, then the user is, let's say, the setting the event dates, and then you can also look for the venue, and then you hit next stage, and then you can see it will populate the venue here, and also the event date is also populated. Yeah. So now we have to, let's progress this so that we can set as completed here. So I'm just going to do confirmed. Yeah. But as I mentioned, in a reward sense, there will be some backend automation to update the status based on the business process flow, which is a stage also that you get to as you continue on this course. Then now we are at the completed stage. So what the user needs to do at this stage, the system tells the user you just need to set the status here, and users can come here and let's say set this as completed and then click on finish. And then they've provided everything required for that. So the business process flow is just a visual guide provided to a user to follow a specific sequence from the beginning to the ending of a process. That is what the business process flow does. And just as I mentioned that there are some more complex automation that can be used to enforce that the status aligns with the business process flow stages. You can also add, there are automations that you can also enforce that would check, but this one is not something you can do with business rule. Maybe it's something that might require some advanced scripting, but then it's some you get there as well. You can use that to block a user at a specific stage, maybe at the confirm stage, and that will ensure that the user will add attendees before completing this. Yeah, so there's a whole lot more that you can do using this process, but this is just a basic example of using a business process flow. Yeah, maybe subsequent trainings will go dive deeper into some of these advanced customization when you already get your foot that much strong on the basic, and then we'll see how we proceed from there. But then this is about the status transitioning, and then this is about the business process flow. Yeah, so I would encourage you also. There are a lot of documentation. There are a lot of YouTube videos you can also watch, and don't just limit what you know to what we do in the class. This is just to let you know that this is achievable. You can actually explore, and that is how you build yourself up. All right. Yeah. So I'll stop here. If there is any question, I would entertain it. If there's no question, I would try to run on time so that we also take a look at the session for today. I think this is it's 2 minutes before we hit 1 hour. So is there any question? Okay, so I can see
For
someone
me,
dropped a
yeah,
message in the app.
yeah, for me, I'm just wondering. Well, what I plan to do after the session, I will jump into my own Microsoft Copilot and
Exactly.
see if I'm able to get to this stage. But I mean, if is there any quick routes you can explain if I want to get to this stage? How do I navigate from my screen? I mean,
Then you just have to follow the same way. I would say there are some things that you can automate with Copilot, but then since it's something that you're getting into, you know, it's not something that you've been on for a while. It's better to know to know the navigation. There are some things you can do with Copilots, even a lot more. So many are being pushed. Even I don't even know it all. Yeah, but it's better for you to know the basics and know how to do it yourself. So even you can modify what Copilot does, because sometimes they say machine is not 100% efficient. Copilot can also make mistakes, but if you understand the basics, you can go in, make some changes, make some adjustments, and yeah, it's good for you to know the basics, because most times you might be in an interview and they're asking you won't tell them that this, you will use Copilot for this. No, they expect you to know that, because when you're interacting with the business, they are looking at you as a consultant and they're expecting that you know these things. So when you know how to navigate from screen to screen and configure and customize these things, now even though you're using Copilot, you're just using it to boost your productivity, maybe to make the work more faster, but you're not replacing using it as a knowledge replacement. You get. So it's good for you to know those things, and there are some things you can use Copilot to do. I think most of them was done. Some of them was done were done at the beginning of the course, where you will use that to create the tables and the fields and then have to modify them. Yeah, those things can be done, but as a beginner, it's better you know the basics. Yeah, so if you go back, you take a look at the recording, just follow that exact same process. And if maybe you get stuck, drop a message on the chat. Maybe it might be 5-10 minutes. We just go on a session, or maybe share you a screenshot or provide you a guide, and you pick it up from there. As I mentioned, a lot of more features are being updated, and even consultants that are seasoned or that have multiple years of experience in this field, also they still need to learn, also to keep themselves abreast with the new changes and new releases. So everyone is still on a learning path. Yeah, so you just know the basics. Follow the guide, the recording. You'll be able to get there. And once you do it once, do it twice. That's it. It stays with you. Okay. All right. Yeah. So we move straight into dashboards, and then we then look at some Copilot features. If there are some we are able to explain during the class, maybe I might give you a quick example how to set that up. And the one we are not able to explain, we'll share you some links that you can watch, and then you also understand that part. But then let's take a look at this dashboard. So in the system, in modal driven app, there are two dashboards. We have the classic and we have the interactive dashboards. Classic and interactive dashboards. Okay, I think maybe I'll share this slide maybe after the class, because time may not permit me to go through all the slides and explain this in detail. So I'm just going to come to this part and maybe explain Okay, let's see. Okay, so classic dashboards are dashboards that are majorly used for reporting purposes. They consist of views, like the normal view you have in your system, and charts. So they consist of views and charts. Those are the things that make up a classic dashboard, and they are usually used for reporting purposes. Let's say, example, you're a manager and you want to take a look at the KPIs of your team, or of each person in the business. It provides you with an overview. You want to see, okay, what are the total number of events with capacity that are greater than 500. Just some quick reporting scenarios. You can use a classic dashboard to do that. But then when you talk about an interactive dashboard has a lot of features that allows you not just to see the information, but to drill down and to interact with that view. An interactive dashboard are mostly configured for operational purpose rather than managerial reporting purposes. So majorly they are used for operational purpose. So let's say you're a customer service experienced person, and then you have a few cases on the system. So let's say when you're building dashboard for the operations team, you want to share with them, okay, these are the cases that are breaching in 2 days. These are the cases that you have not even opened. These are the list of cases that is, let me say, approaching maybe a few hours to breach. And you're showing that person that view so that they can take an action, not just because they want to see the reports or they want to see the revenue status of the organization. No, you're showing them that report that so that they can take action. So it's more interactive. The user can say, oh, these cases are breaching or are going to expire in the next let's say 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then from the dashboard they enter that case, and then they maybe make some changes there, update the status of the case, and then everything is set in order. So in those scenarios, you use what we call interactive dashboards. Another thing there's what we call multi-stream. In the system, when we say stream, we mean views. When you go to community event, there is a view. You need to click on a record in the view for you to open the form. When you go to venue, you will see the list of venues. When you go to speakers, you see the list of speakers. So a list is a view and is also a stream. So whether you call it a view, whether you call it a list, whether you call it a stream, it's the same thing. So in a classic dashboard, you can only add one stream, one view, and you can add multiple charts. But in an interactive dashboard, you can add, I think, a maximum of 4 different views. So there might be a view for, let's say, severity 1 cases, a view for severity 2 cases, a view for cases that are set to breach. Just like, or let's say, using the correct example, you might have a view of all community events that that will be holding in the next 1 week. You might have a view of another community event where the registered attendees is greater than 10. You can have about 4 of the views, and then you can also have charts as well. So that is the difference between an interactive and a classic dashboard. An interactive, you can have multi-stream. In a classic dashboard, most times it's just one stream, and then you can have a lot of charts to display different columns and different conditions on that one stream. So we'll be creating an example. It's just going to be a very quick example, and then we would look at the Copilot side of it. So we're going to create 2 dashboards. One is going to be a classic dashboard, and then we'll also create one interactive dashboard. So let me go back here to the solution. I'm going to go back. And then I'm going to go to tables. Here. Let me first start by creating Okay, let me create. Okay, I think let's start with an interactive dashboard. So I'm going to go to community events. And then, so, and then hit dashboard. So these dashboards that you will find inside this table is called an interactive dashboard. When you want to create a classic dashboard, it's a component on its own. You will not find it inside the table. I'll show you where to find that. But this dashboard option you will find here inside the table is an interactive dashboard. So you click on dashboards and then new dashboard, and then okay, here it's not specifying that, but yeah, let's see. Okay, let's first of all determine what we want to show on this dashboard. Let's say we want to show if we say a 4-column overview, 3-column overview, 2-column overview. Okay, let's do one thing. Yeah, so I think this feature is available on the modern interface, but then on the classic interface it is more informative. You'll be able to see the layout, not just in the names. You'll be able to see the visual layout of the dashboard you're building. So for this, let's use the classic. So I'm gonna go here. Okay, I think we have that opened here, right? Yeah, we have that open. But then I believe we still know how to navigate there. Still the same process. Yeah, so you just click on these 3 dots and then there will be a button saying switch to classic, and then you can switch to classic and then you'll be here. Okay, so this is what I'm saying. Now, here under entities, you see the list of the tables you have. So entity, a table is a component in Power Apps. A table is a component on its own. You can see if I close this says components. All these are components. A table is just one of them. Here it is called entity. And a dashboard is also a component. So when you want to create a classic dashboard, you create it from here. But then if you're creating an interactive dashboard, you need to create it. It's better to create it from you can also create from here, but it's better to create directly from the table. So you can go to community events table, and under that community event table, you will see another option for dashboards. And then you click on it. Currently, there are no dashboard here. And then you click on new. It's going to show you interactive experience dashboard. So you're able to see the type of dashboard you're creating. And then when you click on this, then it will show you this is what the 4-column layout looks like. You can have 4 charts and 1 list. Here you can have 3 charts at the top and 1 list. And so if you go, let's see here. Okay, this one it also shows you can have 3 charts and use to insert multiple cues of view. And then you can also have 4 streams here, maximum of 4. This one you can have 2 charts, maximum of 4 views below. Here you can have 4 charts and a maximum of 4 views below. So this one will also show you what the dashboard will look like. But then we're just going to create something basic. Let's say 2 charts, and then we can add streams that we want. But then 2 charts, and then we can add multiple views. But then we have not created any chart in the system. So that means before you create the dashboard, you need to create a chart first. To create charts, you go to charts. And then we're going to create a new chart. Then I'm going to call this, let's see, the breakdown of the event by, let's break down the event by event type. Event breakdown. by event type. And then because there are two event type there, we can just use a pie chart. So I'll select, you can select the display you want to use. So there are bar chart, area chart, line chart, this is a funnel, and then, but for this, I'll select a pie chart, and then on the ledge, so I want to select on the, should measure the event type. So whatever you're measuring is always on the y-axis. This is the horizontal axis here. It is the x-axis. And then you're counting the, what is it called? You're counting by the event type. And then, okay, oh, I think it's, sorry, want to count all. So let's count all events. Let's say by event name, and then, yeah, so this is going to show you count all. We're counting all events here, and we're counting them by the event type. So I'm going to select the event type. Yeah. So what you're measuring against would be on the x-axis. Would be on the x-axis. Okay. Yeah. So here now you also see a sample of it. You have for the blue is blank, 4 is on site, 1 should be virtual. Yeah. So it's going to be like this. And then we can save this. Oh, just do save and close, and then we create the second chart we want to use. And then let's see in the second one, we want to display. So we've done event by event type. What other breakdown we can do? Okay, let's say the events by, we want to see each event according to the, should we say the days until the event, or we say according to the, okay, let's look at the event breakdown by the, what is it called? The event budgets. So we see the event that has a high budget, the one that has a lower budget. So I'm going to name this event breakdown by budgets. Then, so I'm also counting all. So if you're counting all, you are likely use a field that is required, that always has data. So we're counting all events, and then set by the event budgets. Okay, so this will show, okay, you say this event budget blank. Okay, so this is not how we want it to be, right? So we want the name to be down, and then the values to be calculated at the y-axis. So we'll come here, and then let's put the budget here, and then let's have each event. So here you see the name of the event is here now, art exhibition, food, this, and then the values are measured on the y-axis. So we can use this, or we can also use okay, we can use this. You can change the display. So this one starts from like 5 million. So other events that are not up to 5 million might not be showing here. So this might not be a good one. Let's just use this. Somehow similar to the former one. Can switch to a bar chart as well and make it a horizontal bar chart. So let's just leave it like this. Okay, we can use this one. You can also use an area chart. So depends, but let's use a bar chart for this. So the name of the events, and then you'll see on the y-axis the budget for each of those events. And then let's save and close. And So that will be the second chart. And then we can add more. We can add more. Maybe create a chart on registered, what is it called, attendees. Okay, let's just use these two because of our time. And then now I have two charts. I can embed this chart inside my dashboard. So let me go to my dashboard. Then I can go to create the dashboards now. Then new interactive experience dashboard. So once let's use this. We just have two charts, so we can use this and then click on create. Then I'm going to call this event overview dashboard. Then you can also select the time frame that you want to use to display these events. So if maybe you want to see all the events for this week, or all the events that you want to show for this dashboard must be events created within the last month. So let's just use let's just use this quarter. You might select any time frame. So if I select, let's say today, everything that will be calculated on this dashboard will be only data of events created today, which maybe I think we've created only one or two. That's the only thing you will see. But then you can then select this month, last month, or this quarter. Then this quarter, I think everything we've created so far in the training still falls under this month and this quarter, so we can use that to measure. And then you can, to add a chart, you click on the icon here. It shows you this, and then so you'll be able to see the list of charts you have here. For now, we just created only two, so I'll add this one, and then I'm gonna click on this one to add the other breakdown by the event type, and then that will be there as well. And then here now, this is where I mentioned you can add multiple stream, which is multiple view. So these active events, you can add that. You can also click and add another view. So we only have active and inactive. So you can create multiple views, and maybe because of time, we would have created multiple views, for sorting and filtering the data, would have added multiple views. But when you create multiple views, you'll be able to see those views here, and you can add all of them. Yeah, so you can add a maximum of 4 views here. That is why it is called multi-streams. You will not be able to add these 4 in a classic dashboard, but in an interactive dashboard, you could add multi-views here. And then once that is added, you can then save. Okay, and then once you see the name here, this is saved, and then you close. So you have your dashboard here. And using the same process, I'll just click on the name of the table. Then it's going to open the table here for me, and then click on publish, so I can publish just that table. Okay, and now this is published. So we can now go check and see this dashboard. So I'm going to do a Control F5. Okay, so when I come to community events, okay, I'm going to do a hard refresh again. Okay. Okay, not this one. Okay, so let me hide this. So we don't have this here now. So let's go back to the, let's go back here, and then I'll go to the table. I'll go to community events, then come to dashboards. Okay, so we have one dashboard here, and then I'm going to go to the app as well, and then go to the community events manager app. This is loading. Okay, so here we need to add the dashboard, and then so the dashboards, and then let's see, can we search for the events overview? Okay, no dashboards here, so we may need to refresh this. Okay, okay, we don't have the dashboard showing yet. Okay, this dashboard is here already, event overview dashboard. Okay, so I guess we'll just have to refresh again. Sometimes the issue with dashboard is that it might take a lot of time to come up. Okay, then we'll try one more. What we just do, we publish our customizations, and then we just wait. Okay, now this is published. Okay, when this comes up, we would have one button here to select the dashboard, and then that will render. So we'll continue, and then we'll just come back and check this because of time. Okay, then quickly let's go over where is the solution we have. Okay, and then quickly I'll just add one more dashboard for the classic dashboard, and then show that to you. So I'm gonna click on so this is interactive experience. I'm just gonna okay, let's see, we can add existing here. It's called events. Okay, so I'm just gonna create a new classic dashboard, and then let's also make it something simple. Let's select this. So this one we allow accommodate components across 2 columns. And bottom row to insert a list. Yeah. So let's use this one. We can use this layout, and then so we'll call this event overview dashboard, and we just call this classic. So same thing, we add the charts we have here. Here you need to select the record type, which is in community events. So you scroll down to community events. Yeah, this is it. Then is the chart we created, and then so go back to community events, and then we only have 2 charts here. So for this one, when you create more charts, you can add here. I just hope it allows us to add without the 3rd chart. So here you can also insert a chart, but you can allow you to insert a list here as well. So here let's insert one view from the community event view. Let's say active community event. We can just add it here, and then can it allow save? Okay, yeah. And then we added this twice, the same thing. So let me come here, add community event. Okay, then we can save and close. Yeah, so I can just publish this from here. And then there is also this called enable security roles. Yeah, so it's currently displayed to everyone. Yeah, okay. Just to explain this in detail, when you create a dashboard, you can determine the users that you want to see the dashboard. So every user has a role in the system. So when you select the dashboard, you can configure the roles that you want to see. You want to have access to that dashboard. So by default, it's going to allow the dashboard to be visible to all the rows, so all the users can see it. But then you can restrict that to specific rows that you want to have access to that dashboard. So you can also configure the security aspect of the dashboard here. So for now, because we've not segment rows, we just allow everyone to see the dashboard. And then, so we have this dashboard now created. What we can do now is, then let's go to this community events. We go to these dashboards we create here as well. And then let's confirm also that this is available to all rows, the one we created earlier. Yeah, so all rows can see this as well. So I think this will just take some time to come up. Then one thing you have to know is when you create a classic dashboard here, the dashboard will not automatically be visible. You need to also add these dashboards to the app. So adding this to the app, you go to the modern interface where you have the apps. You click on apps, it's going to show you the apps, and then you need to add this dashboard. Okay, so to add the dashboard, you just click on page, go to dashboards, and then let's look for Okay, this is the classic dashboard we have here. You select this dashboard from here and then you click add. Then you see that here. Can we? Okay, so that dashboard will be visible here. And then you save. Then you publish. Okay, then when you hit play, it automatically refreshes and opens up the application for you. And then we just wait for that. Okay, this is still not updating. That's one issue with dashboard, is that it's not immediate. But we'll refresh again and then we'll wait. We're expecting that to show. Okay, I see this one is here, the event overview dashboard. So we have a list of some out of the box system dashboards that are showing here. But we are not able to see the event dashboard yet. Yeah, so I think some of them are still loading. Would refresh again. Then, okay, so we don't have it here. Then this stage we'll do this. So now this is the interface where we customize this app. This app also has what we call a classic interface as well. Just like the way the solution has a modern and a classic interface, customizing the application also has a classic interface. So most times I like to confirm that from the classic interface, and to do that I'll just switch to classic. Then it's going to open that application in the classic interface. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to click on dashboards, and I can see that dashboard has already been enabled for this application. And these other ones that are even showing are not enabled. You see? So what we'll do here is also most times I check the sitemap and I can see that also this dashboard is here. So at this stage, the only thing we just have to do is we publish all customizations again. Yeah, so sometimes you can be working and then you like, where are the dashboards added? Yes, it happens most times in cases of dashboard. And then you just have to be patient. Once you check and you see that, okay, the right things that you need to do, they are there. You've set them up. You just have some patience, and you always, the last resort is that you publish your customizations. And then when you publish all the customizations, you then wait and you do a hard refresh. Okay, so this one is showing now. So this is the classic dashboard that we added, and these are the charts. You can also drill down. Let's say you want to break these. These are the created one. You want to break it by the. You want to drill down by the currency as well. Currency might not be a good option. Let's say you want to drill down by the let's say event date, and then you want to show that on a chart. So it's going to see there is 2 events this June. There is one in September. So you can also click on the chart and you can drill down. It allows you to drill down, but in the classic dashboard, the drill down is limited. With the interactive dashboard, you're able to, drill down. There are more filters that allows you to drill down more better. So let me just go refresh this. Okay, and then here also we're able to see each of the training by the budgets. You can see the amount for this, the amount for this. All this doesn't have an amount set yet. You don't have an amount set yet. So you're able to see each training by the amount that is set for them, which is the same thing here. And this one just shows the breakdown by event. Yeah, but these are just like basic, I would say, out of the box charts that I just designed spontaneously. So most times you have in mind what you want to show, what you want to display. And based on what you have in mind, or what the client has requested, they might say, okay, we want to see a breakdown of our events by these metrics, by that metrics, and then okay, this is what you're trying to build, this is what you're going to set, then you can go ahead and customize that based on what the user has requested. Yeah, but this one I just created it, just for visualization, just to check. And this is the active community event view. Active community event view. Yeah, so if there are multiple views, like in the one we added 2 in the interactive dashboard, so once that come up, you'll be able to see those multiple views side by side. But here we just have this one view for now. And also this, okay, some charts allow you to drill down, like this one you can drill down. Some of the charts also will not allow you to drill down. Then let's go back and see if the what is it called, the other one is showing. Okay, this one is still not coming up. Yeah, so might need to check that. Okay, but because of time, I won't want us to spend more time on this. I will check that and I will share you this feedback on the chat. All right. Then already see we are already past time, and there's other aspect that we've not covered. Okay, so for the other aspects, I will just make it a very, very brief, just very brief. I'll just explain it. So the other one was supposed to look at what we call Copilot deep dive. So in Copilot deep dive, there are some things that you can use Copilot to do in the system to enhance what we call productivity. And some of them are like creating a row summary. We have smart paste. And then we have other agentic AIs that are being developed, that Microsoft is also pushing to Power Platform. So just to show you some basic examples, let's see, for example, we open this art exhibition, we open this. So here you may have been seeing this functionality here called Form Assist. And then maybe you don't actually understand what this Form Assist does. This an AI is a Copilot feature. So when you click on it, you're able to see what it does. You see it's saying drop files or smart paste for AI to make suggestions. So let's say we want to create a new event, and you click on new. So when you click on new, for example, let's say I have the data of my event somewhere, like let me say art gallery show. This is the name of my event, and the event dates, I want it to be on this date. Let's say I want to set it to be on site, and then let's say this might be the description, and then this is the capacity. Let's say you just have the data somewhere where you just put it, might be very rough. This is just like a rough, it's not detailed, it's like a rough data set. So if I want to create an event based on this information, now it might be like this. I have this rough data set on a notepad. You might have yours on an Excel sheet, and then you just copy that row, maybe copy that row and do control copy to your clipboard. Or it might be even on a printed document that that event details is. So, and you just want to bring it to the system, but you don't want to go ahead filling the information one after the other. You can use that AI feature called the form assist here. To do that, you copy this to your clipboard. So when you highlight this and you do Control C, these details are already copied to your clipboard. So what you just do is, if you hover on this, it will tell you Smart Paste. It will analyze what you have copied in your clipboard, and the Copilot is going to match that to the relevant fields that you have, so that you don't have to impute it manually. You will just have to review them. So if I click on this, it starts reviewing what I've copied on my clipboard. And then you see, it then, because of the AI has its own intelligence, it's able to match its data with the field that aligns with it. So the event name, the event dates are added, the event type, the description, and the capacity. Everything will be matched. So if I want to accept it, I can click on this and accept it. If I want to accept some and discard some, you can also do that on a field level. When you hover on the field, you see the option to accept, you see the option to discard it on each of those fields. Then if you want to accept all, you don't have to do it one after the other. You can just click here and you accept all the suggestion. So this is what it's a part of a form assist. So when you're trying to enter data in a form, you click on accept, yeah. So all the data are imputed, and you might just have to impute the rest. Now, but in this scenario, it is not all the field type that are supported in Copilot yet. I believe in the future, some of the additional field type will be supported, but currently, at the current version of the form assist, it is not all the field type that are supported, like currency field, calculated field, lookup field, which looks up to a different entity, and then this is a roll-up field. These ones are not supported. And if you want to see that, you can just click here. When you click here, it's going to show you the unsupported field to tell you currency field, like event budget, is not supported. Event booking is a lookup field, is not supported. Days until is a roll-up field, is not supported. Total registered is also a roll-up field. So this is a calculated field and this is a roll-up field. So these are not supported. So it only supports text, dates, and numeric fields. Yeah, text, dates, option set. This is an option set field and numeric field. That is what is currently supported for the form assist here. So I don't want to save this. Another feature I would also like to show you here is, in case you don't want to, if you don't have it in your clipboard, let's say for example you have something like this, like a piece of paper, just like you just snapped it on your phone. It might be like a picture you have on a piece of paper, and you have some information. Maybe so your manager say, okay, I'm going to send you the detail of the event, and maybe she just wrote it down somewhere, snapped and sent to you. You can also use Copilot to enter this data to the system without having to type it manually. That is also what the form is also available in the form assist, one of the form assist features there. So let's say we want to upload this one now to the system, just using this image. So I can go back and just see new. This is still unsaved, so I'll discard. And then this is just allow the form assist to load. Okay, now it's loading. When you click on this, you can upload. This is for pasting, this is for uploading. So when you click on this, you upload. This is the picture I opened earlier. So you click on open. From the picture, Copilot is also going to analyze the information there, and then we'll see if it's able to match it to the correct field. So you can see as well. If you check this, have I removed it? Okay. If you check this, we have event name, we have event type, we have the capacity, and I just added a description here. I didn't even label this as description. I just added a description here. But this ones I labeled. So whether you label it or not, the artificial intelligence is able to match that to the corresponding field. So there are just 4 details that I entered here. And if you go and check this, you can see the 4 of them are matched correctly. So the foods, the name, the event type, the description, and then you can, if it's correct, you can accept all 4 suggestions, and then you fill all the fields that are currently not supported. So these are some features of AIs that increase productivity, makes you work faster. So in a scenario where imagine there are multiple tabs and multiple fields, and let's say you have a rough detail of that information somewhere, you don't have to go ahead typing all the field. You can just use the form assist features to bring that into the system. And there is one other aspect of it that I also want us to check, and then maybe the rest I'll share with you the link. You can go ahead and then you can learn more about how you can use Copilot, because as a consultant, most time you meet a client, and you're trying to convince the client to get a Copilot license, and the client might be asking you, what are the benefits of Copilot? What can it do for me? You should be able to explain to the client that, okay, these are the features that your users are going to be benefiting, enjoying using this functionality. And this is how it's going to help them improve productivity. This is going to how it's going to help them work more accurately and faster, So you also need to know what are those functionalities that are available in Copilot. So we'll look at one other functionality, and I think that is where we'll call it a day for today. So let me go to, so there's what we call row summary. So let's say someone is looking at this event. In a real world scenario, this form has only one tab. In a real world scenario, there are going to be multiple tabs, and each tab will have multiple fields. So if I want to know exactly what is the details in this event, most times I might need to be going through the field one after the other, or maybe changing tabs to be seeing the details that are imputed in the field. But you can use AI to create a summary so that when anyone opens the form, they will just see the summary of the events, and then they understand without going through the fields one after the other. So that is also another Copilot feature we call row summary. We call that row summary. And let's say we just use 2-3 minutes to see how we can just let's just add a row summary to the this table. So if I come here and then I go to community event table, I just hope we have this license here, but I think we should. Okay, yeah. So this is row summary. So you may have been seeing that in the table as well. So this is this is row summary. If you want to configure that, you can click on this. When you click on this, it's going to open that for you. So, and then you can see this is also an AI powered by Copilot feature. So I just want to add a brief summary. You can look at the instructions here. It's going to give you more details on how you can, add this summary. So I just want to say the event name event, and then if you want to add, you can pull in data from your event record. Now the way to do that, you can click on add data, or the shortcut is that you can just use / and then you can add data field columns from your event table, and then you're going to select community events, and then let's say I want to add the event name here, and I said this is the event name, add it here. So event, this is the name, let's say is okay, let's see, was created on, and then I want to add the date it was created. Then I can go here and then add data. This created on is system generated. It's also a field that is available on the table, and add it, created on, and scheduled to hold on, and then I can add the event date here. So let's say this is the date the event will be holding, and then I add that data here. Then full stop. You can say the event will be holding in, and let's say you want to add the venue name here. So you also click on the slash, it will allow you to add data. Now when you scroll down, you'll be able to see the related fields here. So we're looking at the venue booking. The venue booking is where we have the name of the event and probably the address of the event. So you go to the venue booking. So now you are inside the venue booking. You see all the fields in the venue booking. Now inside the venue booking, if you are conversant with the data model of the record, you find out that there is also a lookup, a field called venue in the event booking table. And that is where you find the event, the venue name. So I want to add the venue name and then the venue address. So it will be holding in this located. So let me go back. Okay. Located at, okay, I'll leave one space here. So this is the name of the event, the venue, and this is the address, which is where the venue will be located. See, the budget for the event is, and then we just add event budget here. So let me just, and I always add this one, not the base. And it has a total of about, and then we can add the registered attendees, the number of the registered attendees here for events that has the total registered attendees. Okay. Has a total of about, then that's the number registered attendees. So this is just a quick summary, and then you can test to see how it's going to look like on the right hand side. So when you click on test, Copilot will generate the summary for you. You can see, okay, the event titled Food Safety Training was created on June 6th and is scheduled to be held on June 30th. The event will take place at the library conference room located at 789 Lane, Townsville. The budget allocated is 12,000 Nigerian Naira. Currently, there are no registered attendees for this event. So someone is able to see the summary. And then once you are okay with the information, you can then go ahead and click to apply to main forms. Okay, so yeah, so this is, you can see, you get a confirmation that this summary has been applied to all main forms. So then you can go, let's go back, and then we'll see, we're able to test this. So if you click on forms, so you can see on the main form, you'll see this sign. And when you hover on it, it will show you that the row summary is applied to all main forms. So we only have one main form here, but then you have an indication that this row summary has been applied. If you want to remove the row summary, you just click on this and then hide on all main forms. If you want to edit it, you can edit it directly from here. If you want to hide it, you can hide it from here as well. So we just publish this table, which is community events, and then we'll test to see how it summarizes that for us. So advanced publish table. Okay, so this is published. And then now let's go to community events. Then I can, let's see, we need, I think we had in this one. So let's open this. So yeah, so it's generating summary here. We just wait. Let me close this. So now the summary is at the top. Yeah. So you can see the summary. The community vendor training workshop was created on June 5th and is scheduled to be held on June 10th, 2026. The event will take place at the City Auditorium located at this. The budget is 60,000 and there are no registered events, no registered attendees. So yes, there are no registered attendees here. Currently, this is 60,000. You can confirm the details there. And maybe you want to check the address as well. You enter into the event booking, you go to the venue, and then you see confirm the address, City Auditorium. So it's able to summarize that. So if someone is opening that record, they don't need to go through multiple fields. They can just read a summary of what that record is all about. So these are some Copilot features that makes the work easier for businesses. You can copy that. You can also copy that to your clipboard, and maybe if you want to use that information somewhere, you can also consume that information where you want to. Yeah. So our time is fast spent. And there is still a whole lot we still need to do. Even we still need to check the interactive dashboard, but because of time, I say we'll just stop here for today. I'll check this interactive dashboard and then I will put some notes on the charts. Yeah. So if you've been following to this process where we finish the configuration, you can also based on information I'll drop on the charts. Yeah. So when I'm able to update this and the interactive dashboard is showing, I will share with you the process, and then I think you'll be able to follow up from there as well. Yeah. So I think that will be all for now. We've used approximately about 2 hours, and we're just trying to rush everything. Yeah, but yeah. So I will share some link with you so you follow up regarding Copilot. You'll be able to learn about more features you can leverage in the use of Copilot, because as a consultant, you'll be doing a lot of talking. That is why I said it is better you know those functionalities even before knowing how to make them easy with Copilot. So when you're talking, the client knows that, okay, this person has knowledge of the system that they are proposing or the license that they want us to purchase, because to be honest with you, this license can be really very expensive, and most times they need to see what the system can do for them to be able to want to invest in getting that license. Yeah, so I'll just stop here, and then if there is any question, you can let me know. Is there any question?
Okay, sorry, thank you. That's a whole lot, very insightful and educating. Thanks so much. I wanted to find out when you were teaching on the deep dive, that manuscript or that manual script that you imported. Do you have an idea that there are certain volume or certain bulk of it that it cannot process? Because the one you uploaded, I think it's small, and the space given to it is also a sizable space. A situation where you have a bulk of maybe say 3, 4, 5 pages, will it be able to accept it? Thank you.
Okay. You mean in the row summary, or when we were doing the smart paste?
Yes, there was a stage you showed a manual written instruction. You gave example, assume your manager handed over to you, right? Okay. And you needed, instead of you typing it out, you decided to import it, right?
Okay, in this scenario, it's the scope here is form, So Microsoft started this with the form assist, and I think the aim is to, that's why in the future we'll be able to, import bulk data. So currently, this is only available at the form, which means that when you're looking at a form, you're looking at a single record, a single entry. Yeah. So If you have, let's say, multiple events and their information, you can only import one because this form can only take one. Let's say you have an art exhibition, you have a soccer event, you have a movie premiere event, and you have the details in a sheet. Yeah, you can, let's say, upload them one after the other. Maybe you finish with this one, you open a new page, you can also upload that sheet again. Then it's going to give you a suggestion if you don't want the suggestion. Or you might also maybe have different images of them if you're going to do it via images. Or if you want to copy them to your clipboard, let's say it's a document you have, it might be a Word document where you have list of events and their details. So you can only copy the information of one event at a time because this feature is only available at the form level, and the form can take only one event details, only one event registration, only one community event details. So let's say I have a list here and I have another row, I have multiple rows of these. You can just copy one entry at a time. Yeah, this functionality is only available at the form level, so you cannot put multiple. Then, but I understand what you're saying. In the future, when you want to update bulk, yeah, so I believe this is where this is actually going in the future, because this is where the Copilot is going. In the future, there will also be a functionality where you can also, maybe on the view, you click on the view and then you import multiple, and then it's going to import that multiple in the view, and then you can open them one after the other and review them. And then if you want, you can make changes if there are mistakes. So in the future, I think that functionality will be there. But currently, to be honest, some of these AI functionality, some of them are still in preview. So what by preview, I mean Microsoft just released them early so users can engage it. Then they get feedback. When they get feedback, then they go ahead, they create the final version, and then it becomes a release version. But currently, most of these features are still in preview. Yeah. So for now, this one you cannot handle bulk. You can only handle, just per record. You cannot handle bulk. You cannot import in bulk. And I even saw this here. I even saw this here that the user can even see the summary from the view without opening the record. And I think this, it's some kind of cool feature as well. Yeah. But in the future, we'll be expecting more of these apps. Definitely.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's clear.
Okay.
Be looking forward to receiving the links you mentioned that would help one.
Okay, yeah. All right then. So I'll share you the links for all of this, and also the project, which is the project that we want you'll be doing. Also, we'll be sharing the project with you so that you start looking at the capstone project, and then you start familiarizing yourself with what you'll be required to build. And also remember that while you in the process of building this, it is not just you trying to develop something from the pieces you've learned. It's also another opportunity for you to learn, because when you're building something, you're also learning from it. So most of the things that maybe you were not able to pick up during the session, the training, while you're also working on that project, you ask questions. You have any question, you drop it on the chat. The mentors are there, they will attend to you. It will also be another learning opportunity for you as well. And that is the whole intention, the whole idea behind the capstone project as well. It's also to help you learn as well. As you put those things you have in practice, they become part of you and they stick, when you actually practice them. Yeah, so I think that will be all for now. So we'll be sharing you the links. We'll be sharing you also the assignment. We'll be sharing you also about the capstone project. So this, you should be expecting that in the group. And then the next class, we'll start looking at Power Automate and some more advanced automations. Yeah, but please, it can be overwhelming sometimes when you don't practice this and you're going to the next customization or automation layer. But when you take it step by step, you are able to understand it. But let's say after this class you don't look at this, and then the next one you're looking at Power Automate, you're looking at some advanced automations, it might be overwhelming. Yeah. So but when you practice this, and you see, oh, this is actually that easy, and you know it, then you're able to build the next layer on top of what you currently know. That way you take it gradually, and you don't overwhelm yourself, and you're able to remember what you need to do at each stage. Yeah. So take our time, go through the recording. I know that I didn't have much time to spend and explain those concepts and those components in detail, because if we do, we won't cover this much. Yeah. But when you go back, take a look at the recording, and then if you have any question, then just you can just let me know. Yeah. So I'll be ending this training at this moment, and then yeah, we'll keep in touch. See you next week. And then before we go, I think if you want to drop, you can drop. Except maybe I don't know. Maybe Omolola, do you have any inputs at this stage? If there are none, maybe we'll just look at the issue that was mentioned by Abimbola. Yes, regarding the role of fields. There we can look at that. But if there is any other thing you want to add, then just please feel free. Yeah. In the meantime, Abimbola, you can share your screen. Let's see the issue you're having.
All right. Thank you for not forgetting about me.
You're welcome.
Like, I'm disoriented. Today's class has has
Yeah.
has
Just when you practice it, when you practice it, you those things are not actually that difficult to set up. Yeah. But once you practice, after the first practice, when you do need the second and the third time, it becomes very seamless.
I know, just going further from where we stopped last week and everything that we've covered today, asking me to
Yeah.
share my screen, I'm trying to figure out, okay, where am I supposed, what am I supposed to share? So that's, please bear with me. So the last, the assignment, the 3A, the part 3, where we
Okay.
were required to create a roll-up column. Now I'm struggling under which table. I think it's under the event table. Let me see. It had to do with with listed registration count per event, right?
Yeah.
And so when I tried, okay. Right. So there wasn't any related entity. So I went back. I went back into the um, I went back into that table and tried to create a new record, and I checked. And then I checked, and still there was no.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you come under here, I couldn't find anything. So
Mm, Event registration.
yeah, so I went on
Uh,
that relationships. I saw that there's a many to one relationship with the event table under event registration, or maybe I'm the one
okay.
that did
The,
not
the
set
the
it
issue
up
is
properly.
the issue is there is a one-to-end relationship. So which one is the one? Which one is the end? That is what you need to take into consideration.
Okay.
Now, in this scenario, it means there is one event can have multiple attendees. So the event is the one, the attendees is the N. N is many, one to many. So one event can have multiple attendees. So that means if you are on the community event table, you should be able to see a list of, let's say, the list of attendees. So in that scenario, when you're creating a roll up, you create it from the table that has the one, not the n. That means you would create this from the community event table, not the event registration.
Oh.
Because if you look at it, you're creating a table under event registration. The table will
Mm-hmm.
not count itself as this is the total number of registration, or you're trying to say count the number of events, say count the number of events that this registration has been registered with. No, each event registration is linked to one. Each registration is linked to only one event. There's no need to count it. Each registration is linked to one event, but an event can have multiple registration. So you need to create that from the community event table.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. I was creating it from the wrong place. Okay.
yeah.
I see that now. Okay. Thank you. I think I can take it up from there.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so I think if there is any question, in the absence of no other question, okay, yeah, we can call it a day. So
Thank you so much.
see you next week. Yeah, thank you.
I hope we get the recordings on time so that we can spread spread the activities
Yeah,
in the course of
exactly.
the week so
And there are
it
there are
doesn't
there are,
get
there are
overwhelming as
even
we
the links
approach the
as
weekend.
well. Even the links as
Mm.
well, because there are some other functionalities in Copilot that are very, very, useful. Like there is what we call, you can add a page that is built by Copilot. So, and in that page, you can add a prompt and say, okay, build a dashboard for me. This is what I want to see in the dashboard. These are the metrics. These are the information. And then Copilot can build you a dashboard. So this, we're looking. That's why I'm saying, when you're looking at the future, we're trying to, Microsoft is trying to put AI at the center of all these things, so that even when you're creating interactive dashboard, you're creating a classic dashboard. It's good to have the idea, but to know it. But currently, I think that feature exists, and it's not something we have the license for in this training environment. Else, maybe I would have showed that as well. You can also use Copilot and put a prompt. It's going to build you a very nice interactive dashboard, and you also see that in your application. Yeah, but it's something you can also read about, and it's going to be part of the link that we'll be sharing with you, so that you will know that, and you have that tool at your disposal as well. Yeah, so thanks all for your time. Thank you, and we'll see you next class. Yeah, all right.